श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरंग परकाल मुनित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैतिद्योगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूत मनर्गशीलं गोपालदेशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः. स्वामी देशिकन्स् शरणागति दीपिका स्तोत्र अर्थानुसंधानं यथाशक्ति यथामति अडियन reproduces or tries to provide justice to the wonderful Vyakhyanams from Swami Srivatsankachar, Swami D. Ramaswamy Iyengar, Swami Sri Kidambiyam Rajagopalachar, and wonderfully compiled by Dr. V. N. Vedanta Desikan with his own commentary. All that again to the best of my understanding shares, and I take pleasure in sharing this because it is Parama Bhogyam. Even to read these meanings gives us a wonderful anubhava of Swami Desikan's prayer on our behalf, Swami Desikan's unambiguously establishing the Prapatti Margam, and Emperuman's Ascharya Gunams, Sharanagata Vatsalatva Gunam. Sloka 48 today. Brahmanda Laksha Satakoti Ghanananantan Ekakshane Viparivartya Vilajjamanam Matpaparashi Matane Madhudarpahantrim Shaktim Niyunkva Sharanagata Vatsalatvam Brahmanda Laksha Shatasa Koti Ghanananantan Ekakshane Viparivartya Vilajjamanam Matpaparashi Matane Madhudarpahantrim Shaktim Niyunkshva Sharanagata Vatsalatvam. Swami says that even after one becomes Prapanna, there is a feeling of insecurity, that at times we get upset by the enormous amount of papam that we had committed, we are committing, and we are going to commit. From ancient times, on all those occasions, the Jivatma, the Prapanna, is prone to keep sending an appeal to Perumal to destroy his papams. And if it is so huge, tremendously enormous, if it is so huge, how would Perumal be able to burn it? And Swami mentions that Sharanagata Vatsala, you are fond of Sharanagatas. Your Shakti is so immense that it not only puts down the pride and arrogance of the Asura like Madhu, called Madhu, the Madhu Kaitapar. It put down the pride and arrogance, Anavam, Ahankaram of Madhu. But also not just that, your Shakti is so powerful that in a moment, in a fraction of a moment, it destroys countless groups of lakhs of hundreds of crores of Brahmandam, the universe. And in a moment you crush that, you destroy that. And your Shakti can easily destroy my Papa Kutam, my heap of sins. The whole universe with different worlds and Brahmalokam constitute one Brahmandam. The whole earth universe, all the planets, all the lokams, and including Brahmalokam is one Brahmandam. A trillion Brahmandams could be, in a moment, can be wrapped up by Perumal. That's his Shakti. That's the power of Perumal. The Shakti will display a look of shyness in having utilized an infinitesimal fraction of its power in this assignment. It will look, the That's all. 100,000 crores of Brahmandam done in a fraction of a moment. The Shakti will think, that's all, over. So, that's Shakti has shown its potential even in crushing the haughty, arrogant Madhu, a demon who had stolen the Vedas, the Rajasa Gunam, Tamasa Gunam, Madhu Kaitapan. My prayer now is, please use that Shakti to eradicate my Papa Kutam, the mountain of Papams. Even Prapannas need to recite these verses, rethinking of his Shakti, reinforcing of Perumal's power, Shakti. That way lies their cautious warding off all the sinful acts against the Shastras. The Lord has the power to do so in a very comforting thought. My papams are so immense that more than ordinary Shakti will be required to crush them. Just an ordinary Shakti is not enough. My papams are so huge. But Lord, Sriyapati Sriman Narayanan has that Shakti. Is he not Madhusudana, the one who crushed the pride and arrogance of Asura Madhu, who walked away with the Vedas? My darpa, my pride is as great as that Asura. Even my arrogance is as great as the Asura, probably even greater because of the papams. So, during Pralayam, how many andams you crumbled and tumbled down at your sankalpam, by your prowess, by your Shakti. Even that is child's play for him. Pullinvai kindanai, polla arakkanai. Polla arakkanai killik kalaindanai. The Ravana's 10 heads were removed like a prince removes a leaf from the plant. Effortless removal of heads. His Shakti feels ashamed. Is that all over? The Pralayam? Shakti feels belittled, embarrassed, shy. Devotees all over the world voice same feeling about Perumal Shakti. The deep sea stands without any bank. The poison becomes nectar. A stone becomes a ahalya. So on. Is it totally beyond you to do a trick that will subdue and concentrate my mind, my wretched mind? In the Varadaraja Panchasat, Swami Desika warns that the Lord, if he does not put down his papam immediately, Swami Desika warns, my papam will become huge because it is growing every day. It will soon go out of hand for you, my Lord. So you have to burn the papams now. Shakyam tvayapi nahi varayitum karisha. So please act immediately. Please look sharp. If Swami Desika, who led a pure and blemishless life, Acharya Sarvabhauman, if he says so, if he feels so, where am I? That's the message Swami wants to give. That Perumal, he prays to Lord Deepa Prakashan to use his matchless Shakti, omnipotence, to destroy the assembly of his papams, which stand tall like a mighty mountain. Swami Desika here says, Vilakkoli Perumale, your matchless Shakti destroyed the haughty Asuran named Madhu. During the time of the ultimate deluge Mahapralayam, the same Shakti turns upside down crores and crores of universes, Brahmandam, Akilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayakanavan, and destroys them in a second. After having performed these unimaginable mighty deeds, the Shakti of yours feels belittled. They performed as if they performed an insignificant deed compared to what it potentially could do. Oh Lord, Adiyan has a suggestion to you regarding the gigantic task. It will match your Shakti. Please direct the Shakti to destroy my gigantic mountain of papams. These accumulated papams of Adiyan are bigger than all the Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda, many universes. When your Shakti destroys Adiyan vast assembly of papams, then it will not feel belittled, it will not have shyness or doubt about its power. It would have met its challenge. Sabash, Sariyana Poti. Enoda Shaktiki, this papam is perfect to burn. O Lord, who is very fond of Sharanagathas, Sharanagata Vatsala, please destroy Adiyan's huge bundles of papams in your role as Sharanagata Vatsala. Swami Desikan says here, Sharanagata Vatsala, the enormity of papams that one commits in a life piles up like Himalayan heights and makes one qualified for suffering in different kinds of narakams. There are very many narakams. Swami Desikan did not have all these papams at all, but he has us, he has Adiyan in mind when he prays to Lord Tirthanka to destroy our many papams through his unique and unfailing Shakti, through acceptance of our Prapatti in his role as Sharanagata Vatsala Sarvabhauman Perumal. So it is he who saves us. So every Prapanna must contemplate this. When we read verses from Alvar, Alavandar, Alvan, Pattar, Desika, we would graduate a little bit every time in a papam-free state. So the purpose of these commentaries and notes is self-reformation and improvement, Dr. V. N. Vedanta Desikan says. So that goes to prove that he is capable of doing anything. He has got tremendous Shakti. He is Sarveshwara. And we can have an unflinching trust, faith, Mahavishwasam in him. So we move on to the next slokam 49, where Swami Desika reminds the Lord that he deserves to be saved by him because he has already performed Prapatti. Such a wonderful slokam, and it's a beautiful slokam because it brings lot of subtle nuances about Prapatti. Astam Prapattiriga Deshika Sakshikame Siddha Taduktiranagha Tvadapekshitartha Nyastasya Purva Nipunais Tvayinan Vadani Purne Mukunda Punarukta Upayayesha Astam Prapattiriga Desika Sakshikame Siddha Taduktiranagha Tvadapekshitartha Nyastasya Purva Nipunais Tvayinan Vidanim Purne Mukunda Punarukta Upayayesha. Swami mentions Mukunda. He addresses as Mukunda. Mukunda is means Moksham Dadati iti Mukunda. The one who grants Moksham is Mukunda. Mukunda, let the Prapatti performed in the presence of or to the knowledge or with the help of Acharya, let the utterance of the word of Prapatti, the Prapatti mantram, which is faultless and already available, let them remain in respect of what you look for in me. So at the moment, to me, I have already had my Prapatti performed in some whatsoever manner. And you are a Purna, as declared by my expert Purvacharyas. So leave alone the Prapatti that has been performed in my favor by our revered Acharyas through Swanishtai or Vuktinishtai or Acharyanishtai. We will come to it soon. So here Swami mentions, before getting to that, Prapatti is required to be performed. Here it is true that the Jivatma is not a commodity, physical commodity, that it has to be placed at the feet of Perumal. What is Prapatti? The sacred scriptures, Upanishads, advocate Prapatti, Sharanagati, to be placed in the care of God. Swatmanam Mayi Nikshipet. The individual self, Atman, is not a commodity like an ornament one wears. It is a spiritual entity. It's Jnana Swarupa and cannot as such be handed over to God for protection. Besides, Jiva, according to Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, is absolutely dependent on God, and it is his property. As an individual dependent on God and not having any freedom of his own, how can he hand over his soul to God? If the product which does not belong to one is to be handed over to another as if it were his property, would it not amount to some kind of cheating? All these questions need a satisfactory answer, which is subtly placed in this sloka. It is true, the Jivatma is not a physical commodity, and the question of its being handed over to God for protection does not arise. Atmanikshepa or Prapatti or Sharanagati does not imply the transfer from one to another, does not mean. Its implication is something subtle, sublime, different, feel, jnanam. The individual caught up in bondage of samsara from time immemorial, from a beginningless time, anadikala karma pravaha pravritta. Pravaham, karma vellam, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, due to avidya, due to ignorance, had assumed that the Atma belongs to the body, belongs to us. And the Jivatma enjoys full freedom, thereby developing a sense of egoism. After gaining the jnanam, philosophical knowledge, through a sadacharyan who understands fully the Upanishads regarding the true nature of the Jivatma and its relation, eternal relation, inseparable relation, Nitya Nirupadika, Atyanta Paratantriya, Ananyarga Seshatvam. Eternal, Nitya, Nirupadika, not enforced by somebody. Atyanta, beginningless, endless. Paratantriya, fully dependent on him. And Ananyarga Seshatvam, not for anyone else other than Sriyapati Sriman Narayana, eternal servant, servitude. So, this, he realizes that the self, the Jivatma, is absolutely dependent on Sriyapati Sriman Narayana. It is a property of him, and that he has got no right or capacity to take care of it. With this realization of the true nature of the Jivatma, he regrets over the wrong notion he had so far. Twamme, ahamme, Parasara Bhattar mentions. He regrets over the wrong notion he had so far. With all sincerity, he pleads before God that the Jivatma does not belong to me. It is your own property. Now only I have realized I have no power to take care of it. Whatever pleasure is derived from the feeling of this protection also belongs to you. I am your eternal servant. Aham sarvam karishyami. Atmanikshepa or self-surrender or Prapatti is thus a specific mental state, Mati Vishesha, qualified by the three important notions. 1. The self is not mine but the property of God, Swarupa Samarpana. 2. That its protection is the responsibility of God, Bara Samarpana. 3. The happiness derived from the protection is that of God, Pala Samarpana. Along with that mental attitude, the individual, the Jivatma, seeking moksha, should pray to God formally, requesting him to accept the responsibility of protecting his soul. This is the implication of Atmanikshepa, or surrendering oneself. Vedanta Desika expressed this: myself, the responsibility of protecting it, the fruit of its protection is not mine, it is that of Sriyapati. It is in this manner that a wise person should surrender himself to God. Swamin swasesham swavasham swabharatver nidharam swadatta swadiya swartam swasmin yasate mam swayam. Aham madrakshana paro madrakshana palam tatha. na mama Shripate Revet Atman Nitshibet Bhutaha Nyasa Dasakam. So, the act of self-surrender presupposes the renouncement of threefold egoism, that he is the agent of action, kartrutva tyagam, and it belongs to him, mamata tyagam, that the fruit of the act is for himself, palatyagam. So this is what is required. Now, what's more important is how this Sharanagati, Prapatti is prepared, is done. There are different types of Prapatti depending upon the mode of its observance, performance, which is what is described in this sloka. Swanishta, Uktinishta, Acharyanishta. And we'll come to it soon. One can observe it by recitation of the prescribed prayer with the help of a qualified Sadacharya, Acharya. So he would utter the Sharanagati mantram and we would repeat. That is known as Uktinishta. Alternatively, one may do it through the medium of an Acharya, Sadacharya, who on behalf of the Jivatma performs Sharanagati in the prescribed manner. That's known as Acharyanishta. And Swanishta is the one, the individual himself knowing fully the procedure, learned from the Acharya, and he himself performs Sharanagati. So, here Swami mentions regardless, the first half of the slokam, and here says regardless, Prapatti has been performed. The Lord is Mukunda. The idea is very clear. To me, whose Acharyas have done Prapatti for me, whatever it is, either through Swanishta or Bhuktinishta or Acharyanishta, it's been done. And Swami here goes on to explain that regardless of the way the Prapatti is performed, yena kenapi, in whichever manner this is performed, you are going to protect us, Acharyas, as Sakshi, Acharya Anugraham, Acharya's performance of Prapatti. All that is mentioned in this slokam. The 49th slokam of Sri Saranagati is thus a very powerful one, containing the essence of elaborations of the thoughts found in 7th, 8th, 9th chapter of Srimad Ragasyatrayasaram. So, let's just dwell on the Swanishta. Here, in the previous slokam, Swami Desikan addressed the Lord as Sharanagata Vatsala and begged him to use his matchless, magnificent power, Shakti, to destroy his limitless papams. In this slokam, he talks about the three kinds of Prapatti which generally are performed, and that he has performed one of the three kinds of Prapatti prescribed by Shastra. All three are prescribed by Shastra, and prays to the Lord to save him from samsaric affliction and grant him moksha. Swami Desikan starts this slokam with reference to Swanishta. Iha, in the manner of destroying my sins, Desika Sakshika Prapatti Astam. Let Swanishta realized from Sadacharya Upadesham be. It is not for everyone, since it demands complete and clear jnanam and procedure about the relation between Angi, the Barasamarpanam Prapatti, and the Angams, Anukulya Sankalpam, Pratikulya Varjanam, Mahavishwasam, Karpanyam, Goptrutva Varana. All the 5 Angas should be present in equal measure for the Prapatti to be successful. If any one of them is missing, then Prapatti may not materialize. One performs Swanishta and achieves the fruits of Sharanagati only after gaining clear grasp of the Angas and places the soul at the feet of the Lord. This is known as Swanishta. Sangha Anusthana Swanishta. Then we have Uktinishta, the second category of Prapatti, type of Prapatti. All Prapattis are giving the same efficacy, same result. The second upayam, the second type of performing prapatti is Muktinishtai. This is for one who does not have the kind of sharp intellect and tapas needed to perform Swanishtai, doesn't know the procedure. Muktinishtai is blemishless. It is based on the utterance of the sacred words by Sadacharya and the repetition by the Mumukshu, one who is desirous of moksha, repeating the Sadacharya. The Mumukshu who do not possess special jnanam about Anukulya Sankalpam or Pratikulya Varjanam or lack little bit Mahavishwasam or whatever, this Nishtai, like the other two Nishtai, seeks moksham at the end of one's life and blemishless Kainkaryam to Sriman Narayana, one's Acharya and the Lord's Bhagavata during the remaining days of life on the earth. So Swami Desikan in this slokam refers to Mukti Nishtaya as Tvat Avekshita Arthaha Anaga Tat Mukti Siddha. For some, Mukti Nishtaya encompassing the blemishless Anaga Prapatti Mantram recited by Sadacharya, whose meanings are fully familiar to you, Lord, are the means for realization of the fruits of Prapatti. Adiyan may not understand the meaning just because Adiyan repeats Acharyan's word, but you understand. Similar to Bhavati Bhikshandehi by the Vadu in Upanayanam. So the person who gives the rice, Bhikshay, knows. The boy need not know. Similarly, Perumal knows. Acharyan knows. Acharyan who recites the mantram is fully aware. We only repeat like a parrot may not knowing the meaning. Then the third type is Acharya Nishta. And Swami says, Tvayi Purva Nipunaihi Nyastaha. Adiyan has adopted Acharya Nishta as a result of my Purvacharyas placing Adiyan's soul at your lotus feet. That Acharyan of Adiyan who blessed me with Ragasyarthams has included me in the Prapatti that he performed on my behalf. The Acharyan does on our behalf. Parasamarpanam, Palasamarpanam, Swarupa Samarpanam has been done on behalf of Adiyan by my Sadacharyan, Swami Appullar, Swami Vedanta Desika says. Now that Adiyan has performed the Nishtai, Acharya Nishtai, Swanishtai and Mukti Nishtai become unnecessary, right? Why? Because Adiyan can perform Prapatti only once, according to your own Shastra. Sakrideva Prapannaya. A person who has performed Prapatti only once. So, if I do again, it becomes Punarukti, redundant. Idanim Yesha Upaya Punarukta Nanu. In this slokam, Swami says, the other two Nishtais become redundant. If one performs Swanishtai, the other two Nishtais are redundant. If one performs Mukti Nishtai, the other two Nishtais are redundant. Swami Desika says, my Acharya has placed my soul at the lotus feet through Acharya Nishtai, other two Nishtais are redundant. Acharya as Sakshi. Acharya Anugraham and Daya is present in every one of these three Nishtai. Kureshar and Parasara Bhattar have mentioned these in their slokam. In Atimanushastamam, 61st slokam, Swami says, Papi yasyopi sharanagati shabda bhajo. It is not appropriate for you in your role as Ishwaran, as Lord, to reject Adiyan, who uttered the word of Sharanagati, even if Adiyan is a mighty Papistan. When your Jnanam, Shakti, Karuna, Gunams are there, my Papams have no effect. This slokam can be connected to Mukti Nishtai. In Varadarajastamam, Sloka 84, he says, Sharana Varana Vagiyam Yodita Na Bhavati Vadasatapi Deepurvika. O Varada Prabhu, the Sharanagati Vakyam uttered by Adiyan has not arisen from Jnanam based utterance. Buddhi Purvakam. There is no Buddhi Purvaka utterances. Please take heed of that deficiency. Please do not consider that deficiency and have compassion on me so that Adiyan will be rescued from samsara. So, here also Swami mentions, even Rangarajastavam Uttara Shatakam 102nd slokam, Parasara Bhattar mentioned, Adiyan has been placed at your sacred feet for protection by the noble and righteous Acharyas as yours. Adiyan has also uttered the word Sharanam. You must accept the responsibility for my protection, bearing those two factors as witnesses for this request. The reference could be either Swanishtai or Acharya Nishtai. So, Ahobila Matam follows Ukti Nishtai. Other Munitraya Sampradayika, Swayamacharyas, they follow Acharya Nishtai. Even Ahobila Matam, when a person is on its deathbed, and if he or she had not performed Prapatti, on his behalf, if an appeal is made to the Sadacharyan, they place the soul even remotely at the lotus feet of Malolan through Acharya Nishtai. And for little babies, children can also be performed, Prapatti can be performed through Acharya Nishtai. So the compassionate Acharya performs Acharya Nishtai to protect the Jivan inside the body of the child or the person who is bedridden. So thus the 49th slokam is so wonderful that it gives a subtle mental state of the Prapanna during the performance of Prapatti and subsequently. Quite probably Ammal, Appullar and so on, others as well have fervently performed this Acharya Nishtai. So, Parasara Bhatta mentioned, Tava Baro Aham Akarishi Dharmikaihi. So, all this goes on to prove the wonderful efficacy of Prapatti. So, that's why Sharanagati Gadyam Ramanuja says, Yena Kenapi, in whatever manner the Prapatti has been performed by utterance of Dvaya Mantra. And Perumal is happy with that. And he assures that do not worry, Dvayam Artha Anusandhanena Sagasataivam Bhakta Yava Charirapatam Atraiva Srirange Sukhamasva. Contemplate on the essence of the mantram, Dvaya Mantram, Artham, and reside in Srirangam without any worry, peacefully, until the end of that life. Adiyan Dhanyosmi, Acharyan Trivadigalai Sharanam, Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline, Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.